Have you ever just felt it? That subtle shift in your own mind? It's like a quiet hum in the background that most of us notice but can't quite put a name to. Well, today we're going to name it. We're diving deep into how, and more importantly, why your brain is being rewired.
And here's the really unsettling part. This is all happening behind the scenes. It's automatic, it's silent, and it's happening completely without your consent. It's just a process running in the background of your life every single day.
I bet this sounds familiar. It's that feeling of mental fog, you know? The one you just can't seem to shake? It's why you pick up your phone to do one thing and suddenly find yourself scrolling, and then you look up and poof, an hour's just gone. This isn't just a bad habit, it's a symptom.
So how can we actually spot this rewiring while it's happening? That brings us right to our first section, the silent rewire. We're going to talk about how to recognize the symptoms in our own digital world.
So when you look at these common symptoms, that compulsive need to check your phone, an attention span that feels shorter than ever, that mental fatigue that just won't go away, it's so easy to think it's a personal failure, to think I just need more willpower. But what if I told you that's not it at all? These are just clues that something on the outside is changing how we work on the inside.
And that leads to the big question, right? Why is this happening? Let's jump into our next section, what we're calling the architecture of distraction, to see how our very own biology is being targeted.
And let me be perfectly clear about this. The distraction you feel, that magnetic pull from your devices, it's not an accident. It's not some random side effect. It is a carefully, brilliantly constructed architecture. It was designed to work exactly this way.
So, who are the architects of this whole system? Well, they're the invisible forces working behind our screens. We're talking about social media algorithms that learn exactly what will keep you watching, the AI that's constantly optimizing for your engagement, and of course, that endless river of notifications from all our apps.
In all of these systems, they're designed to aim at one specific part of your brain, your dopamine system. Think of this as your brain's ancient, fundamental reward circuit. It's what gets you motivated, it's what makes you feel pleasure, and it's what makes you want to do something again and again and again.
And this is the engine that drives the whole thing, the dopamine loop. It's so simple, yet so powerful. Let's walk through it. It all starts with a cue, say, the buzz or the sound of a notification. That immediately triggers a craving in your brain for a little reward, maybe a like, maybe a new message. Your response? You unlock your phone without even thinking. And the reward is that tiny, fleeting hit of dopamine that basically trains your brain to want to do it all over again, sometimes just seconds later.
You know, this slide really gets to the core of the problem. We all bought into technology for its promise, right? Connection, information, these incredibly powerful tools. But the mechanism it uses to deliver on that promise is what's rewiring us. So instead of true connection, we get constant engagement. Instead of pure information, we get stuck in these dopamine loops. The ultimate goal isn't to make our lives better. It's just to keep our eyeballs on the screen at all costs.
Okay, so once you really understand that mechanism, it lets us make this hugely important emotional shift. Let's move into our next section, the responsibility shift, and talk about why none of this is a personal failure.
I want you to just let this one sink in for a minute. Really read it. This constant fight for your own attention, this feeling of being pulled in a million directions, it is not your fault.
The honest-to-goodness reality is that your basic human biology is in a battle with some of the most sophisticated, persuasive technology ever created by humans. This is a systemic issue, not an individual one. And just realizing that, that's the first step to taking away the shame that keeps so many of us from actually making a change.
So if it's not our fault, what are we supposed to do about it? Well, that's what our final section is all about. Cognitive reclamation. And this part isn't about doom and gloom, it's about hope. It's about regaining control with an empowered mindset.
And this is absolutely key. The real solution here isn't about fighting technology or going to live in a cabin in the woods. It's an internal fix. It's about making a fundamental shift in how we think about and approach our digital lives.
So what does this shift actually look like in the real world? It really boils down to two incredibly powerful ideas that work together. The first is called digital minimalism, and the second is deep work. Let's break down what those really mean.
Putting these into practice is really just about being intentional. Digital minimalism isn't about depriving yourself, it's about being a ruthless curator of your digital space. You ask, does this tool actually serve my real values? And if the answer is no, it goes. Then there's deep work. This is the perfect antidote to constant distraction. It's about scheduling time, even if it's just 30 minutes to start, where the phone is in another room and you focus on one single hard thing. That is how you retrain your brain to be able to focus again.
When you strip it all down, it comes back to one simple but incredibly profound idea. Your attention is your most valuable asset. It's the currency of your life. It's what your entire experience is made of. And so the only question that really matters is the one right here on your screen. How are you going to invest it?